Ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to you. You're watching a brand new episode of Encounter. Today, our guest, he's a CEO, he's a lecturer, he's also a musician, an author, amongst many other things. He will be speaking about tapping into the human potential and personal growth. Our guest is none other than Subheer Ramnoruth. A very warm welcome to you and thank you for being here.
Hi, Oshan. It's a pleasure to be here and thank you for inviting me.
Well, maybe our viewers should know that we have been planning this interview since quite some time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it did not happen before, but I'm glad that we managed to be both present here for this
And
interview.
I think everything happens at the right time,
I'm
right?
very sure that everything happens at the right time. Subheer, you work a lot with students, you work a lot with helping people grow their potential. So can we start with a broad definition? What is human potential and personal growth?
I mean, if you give, let me give you an analogy. If I show you a seed, you will tell me that's a seed. And the same seed, if you give that to a farmer, and you ask the farmer, what is this? This guy will tell you, this can become a huge tree. That huge tree can bear 10,000 fruits.
Yes.
And these 10,000 fruits over its lifetime can produce another 10,000 fruits, giving another 10,000, seeds. And with that one seed, I can make, a business for a whole lifetime.
Of course.
That's the potential of a seed, right? But some seed just die without their ability, without them tapping into their potential and without them really flourishing. So I think human being has amazing potential as well. And I can just show you that right now. Right now, there are billions of neurons in your head. Who is controlling that, Roshan? It's you.
Well,
if it's inside you, who is controlling it?
well, we think we control it. I don't think we control everything because we're not very conscious about it.
You're not conscious about it, just like the seed is not conscious about its potential, right? Who is regulating your blood pressure then?
Homeostasis does it on its own.
Where is it?
Inside of you.
Inside you.
Yeah.
So there should be something inside you which is doing all these amazing works,
Yes.
which transform your body from a baby to this young gentleman sitting right here in front of me. So there is a fantastic intelligence inside you, inside every one of us.
Of course.
It's amazing what we have inside of us. But it's quite sad to see what we do with that amazing potential. Now let me give you another simple and practical example to show you what we can do and what potential we have. You said, we play music. So when I was playing music, my fingers in the beginning were not even moving. I wouldn't be able to move fast. But when I sat down, with the master, and I started to train those fingers, and after doing the same thing again and again and again and again, those same fingers, which were hardly moving, now move beautifully and at a speed that I didn't even know I could perform at.
Okay.
That's evidence that there is potential inside you, but you need a tool to bring that. You need technique, you need knowledge to bring out that fantastic potential which we truly are.
So that's why you used the word consciousness earlier, because the seeds did not have consciousness, or even us, before we're able to do something, we have so much potential, but we're not. So what you mean by consciousness is also we're not guided of what we can possibly do?
I think first to discover anything, you need to be aware of it. So if you're not aware, that's what we call you're operating in the field of ignorance. You're not aware of your potential. I think awareness precedes mastery. If you want to master anything, first you need to be aware of it. Else, life would become life like, John the beggar. It's one of my favorite stories. There was this beggar sitting on a box. And he spent his whole life begging, right? And he was sitting on the box, and that's all he had on the streets of UK. So one day after, 15, 20, 30 years, suddenly he died, and his beggar colleagues, his other friends, said, "We're missing John. The only thing he had was this box which he never opened," right? So they said, "Let's open it." They took an iron bar and opened the box. And when they opened the box, they were like dumbfounded. It was speechless, because in that box were precious jewels, diamonds and gold coins.
Okay.
But he wasn't aware he was sitting on a treasure. That's what happened to you when you're not aware. You just live your life normally, not being aware of the vast human treasure that's inside you.
So how do you raise your awareness, Subheer?
There are many, many possible avenues, right?
Let's start by the simplest, an advice we could give to parents, to children, to probably how to initiate the first step.
Yes, it's taught by first looking at yourself. We've known a lot of things about technology, the economy, or the people as well.
Of course.
We know a lot of things about what they do and all that stuff, about cats on YouTube, and many other things we've studied for a long time.
Yes.
But what we've missed out in this rat race, in this daily rush, is to sit back and look at ourselves, go within us. And it's called introspection. Have a look, take a mirror and look inside of you. And that's where it all started for me as well. And when you look inside of you, you would see beautiful things, and you would also see imperfections, and you would also see room for improvement.
Of course.
Now, where you see areas like need some improvement, the next thing is you start to inquire and learn about it. Okay, that's lacking in me. What can I do about it? You acquire knowledge. But first it's come with that intense desire of knowing it. And then you acquire knowledge, and then the magic happens.
Of course.
No, it never happens. The magic happens only when you put in massive action.
Okay.
Because massive action will get you massive results and will push you forward. Because massive results give us lots of joy, lots of enthusiasm, lots of faith that this is working.
Okay.
But many people go, find out, that's how I am, get the knowledge, and we stop there.
You mentioned that you have to do self-introspection, but also people have to find the motivation to go through the whole process and give a lot of effort to have massive results. But there's an issue nowadays. Most people do not have the motivation. They live a very mundane life. So I think this is where we have the biggest problem in society nowadays.
I agree with you 100%. And in all that I write, in all that I say, people ask me, do you do what you speak about? Does your book change people's life? I say no. I speak only about one thing. It's time you take responsibility for your own life. It's time you start to parent yourself and stop depending on others and external things to change you, right? So no one else except you can push yourself. I can speak to you. You can feel motivated for a day. But the change doesn't happen if it's not lasting.
Yes.
So you're going to need to push yourself. You're going to need to give yourself that drive every day. What keeps us in a low mood is stagnation. When you're doing the same thing every day, and there's no progress in your life, you feel kind of low.
But this is what you call a comfort zone.
Yes, and in the comfort zone, it's not pleasant, not always pleasant.
All right.
It's not always pleasant. And you see, I mean, I'm struggling with my life. The shape of my body is not nice. I'm even having some health problem, but I still like the way I eat. I still won't exercise. That's why we call being in your own comfort zone. But if you look at the world, look at nature around you. If you put a seed here, the natural tendency is is for it to grow.
It will sprout.
It will
somehow.
sprout and want to grow. If you put a little animal, the animal want to grow. You know, if you look at the baby want to grow. Our natural tendency, our natural, way of life, what we want to achieve is growth.
Yes.
And what gives you a lot of joy is when you do something today and you see a little result tomorrow or maybe day after, you feel happy about it. And this happiness gives you a little drive to go out and do a little more tomorrow.
Okay.
That's how it works. But if you sit here and you want me to motivate you, you want someone else to come and push you, one day someone will do that for you. But after a week, after a month, after 3 months, you got to take care of yourself. And I think we're all grown up enough now to take care
So
of
what
ourselves.
is the secret to keep the motivation going? Because it's very easy to lose that motivation after 1 or 2 days.
Burn the bridges. If you want to stay on an island, right? If you want to stay on an island, what do? You say, okay, I want to stay on this island now. I don't want to leave the island. The first thing that you do, if there's an airport, you burn it down. If there's a harbor, you burn it down. If there's a boat, you burn it down. Burn the bridges, you have no option, right? You stay there. So if, for example, you want to get up every morning, once you've decided, don't think about it again. Because what will happen, you will start to negotiate with yourself.
Okay.
You say, I'll get up this morning, right? And then when the alarm rings, you press the snooze and give yourself, a few lame reasons, right? I'm tired, I work hard.
That's an excellent example. I think most people have struggled to wake up early in the
Exactly.
morning.
So once you decide to do something, you have a 5-second space, a 5-second, room to do it or not. And if you don't do it in that 5 seconds, your own brain will come in between you and the action and will start to give you, excuses not to do it. So once you want to do something, say, I'm going to do that, right? And Mel Robbins said that. You said you can't 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then you go out and do it. Don't negotiate with yourself because your biggest enemy, the only one who is preventing you from getting out of your bed and going and achieving your dream is your own self and your own mind, and it's called your own negative self-talk. It's telling you don't do that. And that's your biggest enemy. And you're going to fight with that, and you have to win that.
Easier said than done.
I mean, you see, that's a mindset. That's a mindset. That's the self-talk we are used to.
Yes.
Why is it just so difficult just to get out of bed? I tell you, if you get out of bed at 5 a.m., at 6 a.m., at 10 a.m., that first 5 minutes of getting out of bed is always difficult. It's not easy at 10 a.m. Okay. You always turn around in your bed at 10 a.m., right? So it's also about we are creatures of habit. Whatever we do you find struggle in brushing your teeth, Roshan?
No.
In having your breakfast?
Not at all.
In doing certain things which are installed in your time? So what happened? We are creatures of habit, and we've installed a certain routine, and most of those routines are unconscious or subconsciously installed. So as we said, first, be conscious about those routines. What are those routines that's harming me? To be able to wake up early, maybe I should sleep early because I need that 7 hours or 8 hours or 6 hours of sleep. So first, install the time I sleep.
Okay.
Install a discipline there. That's where I sleep. And once I have my 7, 8 hours, I'm going to get up the next day. Okay. Isn't it? That's how. So it happens not by always motivation, by installing the right routine.
They say that it takes 3 weeks, 21 days to start a new habit. Is that true? Let's say if you want to wake up early and you tell yourself you will go at sleep roughly 11 and wake up at 7, or you go 11 and wake up at 6. If you manage to do it for 3 weeks, you naturally get into a rhythm. It becomes a habit.
It was said earlier that it takes 3 weeks. Now I think it takes around 60 to 70 days. What happens?
60 to 70.
70 days to install
So
a
2
new
months.
habit. For a new, actually there are neurons, neural pathway that are created in your mind.
Exactly.
So it doesn't happen in 3 weeks. It actually takes longer. That's why, and once that is established, it's no longer effort. It's no longer painful. But only there is, just imagine, a rocket going up in the sky. It's only when it's pulled down by gravity in the first few minutes or seconds, it's tough. After that, once
just
it's
goes away.
cleared of gravity, it just goes easier.
Yeah.
So that's the start is difficult. Then in the middle and in the end, it's more beautiful.
You're talking about routine. What is your routine?
I have a routine which I've been following for quite a few years now. The thing is, I haven't missed even one day of the routine. And that's, I think, the secret. Because if you miss one day, I've always feared, actually, that I miss one day and then it become a habit, I will miss it seconds.
Even if you're sick?
Even if I'm sick, even if I'm traveling, even if there's a death in the family, even if I'm not good, I just get up and get going. So it starts by getting up earlier than everyone in the house, because that's my time, my quiet time. I stay in a very cold, lovely place called Cupid. You know?
Polno.
Yeah, Polno, but I love the Polno because just imagine, I'm surrounded by green trees. You listen to the birds singing in the morning. So it's dawn, it's quiet, there's no noise and no co around. And I close my eyes and I go into this deep meditation and I'm drenched in peace. Drenched in peace. And you realize that you have different states, different level at which you can operate. And it's my time to, disconnect from all this artificial intelligence and to connect with the real me who is there.
So do you wake up from your bed, have a walk, and then meditate, or you just do it as it is?
One of the purpose is to achieve control over your senses, over your mind. And I just get up in the morning, just have a quick, wash my face and brush my teeth, and I sit down because I don't want to awaken the senses as well. I don't want to awaken the mind too much. Okay. So I want, because the mind is still a bit asleep, the senses are a bit asleep, so I make the most of that and I get into my meditation and morning routine. So I do that for around 40-45 minutes. And then after that, I read my values. Because when you go out in the world very often doesn't allow you to live and walk your values. So I strengthen my belief in my values in that very deep state.
When you mean values, is quotes from people, or do you read sacred books?
I read sacred books. I read quotes from people.
Inspirational speakers and authors, the books that they have written?
I mostly all these, ancient wisdom.
Nice.
I prefer to go to that. And then I come out of the room and I'm in that very beautiful state. And in that beautiful state, I go and wake up the kids. It's time to play with them. It's some family time and some cuddling and some love.
Your day starts.
And then I go out and make a healthy meal because it's time to feed the mind and then it's time to feed the body. And then the kids, by the time, would be ready and go out to school.
Yes.
And then once they're off, I would have my breakfast. And that's where I listen to all these talks and all these learning happen.
So you're speaking about routines. How do you develop a good routine in your life? Especially, they say that in the morning is very important.
Yeah, it's the time of the day where it's still quiet in the morning, and you're going to make the most of it. And it's also very important because imagine you had a bad morning. A burglar came in your home. It affects your whole day, isn't it? And if that happens every day, it affects your whole week. If that happens every week, it affects your whole month, and that becomes your whole year. So the quality of your morning affects the quality of your day, your week, your month,
your life,
your lifetime. So it's something very important is how you begin your day. And it's also a very good way of installing habits, of strengthening your beliefs. So everything that I do, it's releasing in the morning all these positive, happy hormones it's like flooding my body with that. Now imagine after 3 hours, around 7 or 8 in the morning, I'm in peak state, ready to fight and ready to tackle the world.
Okay. All right. So you prepare yourself to the best that you can before going to work so that you can face the day to your best. And since you started doing that, what changes have you seen in your life?
A lot. Actually, it's game changing. It's a huge change. My temper has come down. I feel more sweetness inside me. And also when your mind is calm, you can see the mind as a lake. You know, when do you see, imagine there's a forest and a lake in the middle. When do you see a clear picture of the forest around? When there are waves on the lake or when the lake is calm? Definitely when the lake is calm,
yes.
you see a better picture of what's around you. So it's the same thing for the mind. Once you calm the mind, you are able to see things much clearer. And being in a leadership position, that helps me to read situation better. And anything that you start with a positive attitude, the chances of success is always much higher.
And this works irrespective of the field that you work.
Obviously.
All right.
I mean, in any field you work, if you start your day on the right foot, I think you're going to have a good day.
We all have our lives. We all have our ups and downs. But does it make a difference when you react positively to the downside so that it helps you expand better? Understanding what I'm trying to ask you.
So sometimes life doesn't throw roses at you all the time.
Of course.
Sometimes they throw stones, and you're asking me whether that helps me to face those dark valleys of life.
Yes, but most importantly is those who react the best to the bad situations are the ones who are the most successful, because we all react a certain way when things are good. Let's face it.
And it's easy.
But and it's easy.
Yeah.
But the difference between the successful ones and the unsuccessful ones is we all find a way to go around. But the ones who are the most creative and the ones who find the way to best go around a rock or a mountain are often the most successful ones.
Yes. And that's where also this aspect of emotional intelligence come into play. And those who are emotionally intelligent are usually, those who achieve the best performances in those situations. Because you see, Roshan, there are two things that happen in your life, broadly. Things that you can control and things that you cannot control, right? So, for example, can I control the war that's happening in the world right now?
No.
I don't have the power to do that. And obviously, it's affecting lives of many people, even in this country. Now, what will worrying about this bring to me? If you worry about something that you can't control, the only thing that will happen to you, it will worsen the situation.
100%.
So worrying about something that you can't control, you agree with me, won't change anything.
No.
So now you have a second option, is to look at things that I can control and make the best out of it. And if possible, turn the problem into possibilities. And I've seen companies do that. I've seen individuals do that in bigger situation, bigger problem, or in smaller problems.
Every problem is an opportunity. Every problem is an opportunity for business.
It's an opportunity. I've also worked with a few companies. I've seen companies turning around their business in COVID. And after a year of operation, one of the companies I work with, it's a true story, they have 20 staff and are actually profitable even after 1 year. You know? So I think they're raw. If you're creative enough, you'll find a solution. If you're compassionate and kind enough, people will help you. And if you're determined enough, you will get through. So what's required, apart from resources, is resourcefulness. That character trait, that grit to get you through that. And I think the morning routine helps to install those traits in you.
The morning routine helps you to develop more empathy also?
One of the first lines that I tell to myself is I look around me and I say, I'm very grateful for this beautiful day. Because when we focus on things that we don't have, we will always have a sense that there's something missing. And if you always focus on things that's missing, there will be a sense of lacking in your life and you can't be happy. But when you focus on things that you have through gratitude, right, you would be happier. And when you would be happy, you would have a more positive attitude. And as we said earlier, if you take up any challenge with a positive attitude, right, through gratitude, you're going to succeed. So let gratitude be our attitude when we start the day.
Let gratitude be our attitude.
Yes.
Fantastic. That's a beautiful saying. Subheer, this episode has come to the end. But what I take from it is have a good morning routine, develop empathy, develop your effectiveness. Probably our body is one of the best technologies that has ever been created in this world.
I agree with you.
And I want to say that let's have a second episode. And because just a few minutes ago, you mentioned about creativity, especially in the face of difficult situations. And I think that we can speak a lot about it, creativity,
sure we can.
and also how it helps in terms of educating yourself.
Exactly.
So, Subheer, don't go anywhere. We'll have a second episode. So I want to say thank you for now.
Okay, see you soon.
See you soon. Ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the end of this episode of Encounter. I hope you have enjoyed it as much as I have. And a big thank you to Subheer for this first episode. We'll be having a second one with him shortly. And if you have any questions, queries, suggestions, or any kind of questions you might have about the guests or the topic that we have discussed, drop an email. It's encounter@mbc.itnet.nu. Until the very next program, goodbye.